Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Williams, you will be the senior lawyer in the Department of Defense, and Secretary Hesed has made it very clear in multiple ways that he has not much respect for lawyers. Among his first actions, he dismissed the JAGs for the Army, Navy, and Air Force. And these officers are absolutely critical to guide the department, particularly in complying with the law of armed conflict and ensuring that the military adheres to restrictions and rules that would touch upon any type of domestic deployment. So, Mr. Master, do you commit to following the rule of law and the Constitution, even if the Secretary disagrees?
Unreservedly, sir. Yes, I do.
Thank you. Do you commit to always exercising your professional legal judgment free of political influence?
I do, Senator.
Federal law states clearly that no DOD employee may interfere with the provision of independent advice by TJAGs to military service leadership and by JAG officers to commanders. Do you commit to fostering and continuing and protecting this independence?
Yes, Senator. I will always follow the law.
Will you ensure that the acting IG will not be influenced or interfered with as he conducts his duties, including the evaluation of signal gate?
If confirmed, Senator, yes, I do.
Thank you very much. Mr. Williams, you're in charge with a very challenging assignment, leading NNSA. As I indicated in my opening remarks, in mid-February, 177 employees were laid off, and 153 took early retirement. Now, 150 of those first batch, the 177, returned. They were called back because NNSA realized they couldn't function without them. But NNSA has been chronically understaffed for the years. And now, as I mentioned too, they've declared that DOE will shed 8,500 employees, and that boils down to about 500 civilians at NNSA. How can you make the organization function when morale has been spiraling downwards because of these personnel changes and simply the lack of personnel?
Thank you for the question, Ranking Member Reed. I've read those reports, although I have no firsthand direct knowledge of any of those decisions within the Department of Energy or within NNSA. As I mentioned in my opening statement, the men and women of NNSA are an exceptional organization, I think, actually in human history. And they will be essential to accomplish the scope of the task that's been outlined by this committee, the resources that have been entrusted over the last decade of a real rebuilding of it. And I can assure you that I will advocate for the men and women of NNSA that we can accomplish that mission together.
Well, I hope you do, because if you lose 500 personnel, you'll be sitting up at night, not just worrying, but also watching our weapons. Mr. Hansel, you, as the USD INS, are responsible for carrying out Section 714 of Title 10, which authorizes the Secretary of Defense to provide protection and personal security in the United States to designated individuals who are under a serious and credible threat to their safety. The most recent annual threat assessment of the U.S. intelligence community in March of this year stated, Iran seeks to target former and current U.S. officials it believes were involved in the killing of Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force Commander Qasem Soleimani in January 2020, and previously has tried to conduct lethal operations in the United States. There are two former defense officials, Secretary Esper and Joint Chiefs of Staff General Milley, who have had their protection removed. Do you believe that decisions related to whether or not this protection should be based on the assessment of the threat by the intelligence community?
Thank you for the question, Senator. I'm very aware of the specific 714 language and specifically its new ability for the Secretary to delegate this responsibility to the Undersecretary for Intelligence and Security versus the prior restriction to the Deputy Secretary. And I'm very familiar with the regulation, and that there's two categories. One, that folks that can receive this benefit because of the nature of the position, and second is a population mostly DOD and DOD retired that is based on circumstances. One of those being serious, credible threats, the other being overwhelming operational circumstances, and that the law says that determination shall be made based on a threat assessment. So to answer your question specifically, the law is clear that a threat assessment should inform that, and I'm also aware of the congressional notification requirements in that law, and if confirmed, would intend to follow it as written, and I think additionally make an overall assessment of the program to ensure we have a sustainable sustainable framework that allows us to mitigate risk to force in a standardized way.
So your view is that the threat assessment should be the predicate for removing or providing protection. Can Congress get the copy of the threat assessment that was used in the decision to take away this protection?
Senator, I have no information about historical, I'm not in the department now, about historical decisions, but if confirmed and if delegated this responsibility, I would have access to those threat assessments and in accordance with regulations would share those.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Reed. Senator Fisher.